From overweight and far from an athlete to winning the Denver Nuggets their first NBA championship and taking home the Finals MVP, this is the extraordinary story of Nikola Jokic. For most of the Joker's younger years, the NBA seemed like nothing but a pipe dream. After all, Nikola was stuck in a cramped 2-bedroom apartment with his 2 brothers, parents, and grandparents. On top of all that, Jokic was overweight to say the least. Despite these challenges, Jokic's talent and potential was undeniable. He possessed exceptional basketball instincts, a high basketball IQ, and impressive passing skills for a player of his size. The Denver Nuggets, led by their forward-thinking front office, recognized Jokic's unique abilities and selected him with the 41st pick in the 2014 NBA draft. But that begs the question, how did Jokic turn his physique around and become one of the best basketball players on the planet? Obviously, Jokic was not drafted to the NBA because of his overweight build, but the Nuggets saw the potential in Jokic. The man flew so under the radar that he was drafted during a Taco Bell commercial, which was fitting considering his condition at the time. But looking back, the Nuggets couldn't have made a better selection. Things were not perfect at first though. Jokic arrived in Denver overweight, out of shape, and with a diet that would make the average American blush. Even the Nuggets head coach at the time, Steve Hess, did not hold back, saying, when he first came to us, he was 295 pounds. He thought that soft drinks high in sugar were okay, and candy was okay. Hess and the Nuggets strength and conditioning coach Felipe knew that Jokic would be a project for the team. But again, there was potential because of his height and playmaking IQ. So the two coaches created a plan to transform Jokic's body and fully unlock his tremendous athletic potential. You would think that the Nuggets staff would just put Jokic on a super clean diet immediately, right? Well, although this seems like the obvious thing to do, the team took another approach, slowly and steadily getting rid of the diet habits that were killing Jokic's physique. The first move was to cut off Jokic from his true love, Coca-Cola. The towering center was quite literally consuming a gallon of the stuff each day, which according to Coach Hess made him shudder. Coach even went as far as saying that it's freaking poison, just the worst. That was the worst, but once we got him off that, he was good to go. Jokic was actually addicted to Coca-Cola, which is somewhat funny looking back, but at the time, it was a serious issue for the Nuggets training staff. Eventually though, Jokic broke his soda splurging, and the next step dealt with solid food. Instead of creating a meal plan based around heavy restrictions, Hess gave Jokic a guide to the types of foods that were beneficial for him to eat, then worked them into a 6 meals per day plan. Jokic continued to improve his diet each and every day, being consistent and disciplined, which allowed him to drop over 40 pounds while decreasing his body fat percentage from 21 all the way down to around 9%. He is now quite literally a completely different person than the fat kid from Serbia. But how did this translate on the court? Obviously, losing weight did not hurt Jokic whatsoever. He was significantly faster than before, but like most big men, Jokic was still very slow on his feet and had little to no range of motion. You'd think that to make the NBA, players have to be in the best shape of their lives, but what if I told you that up until this point, Jokic hadn't even lifted weights? Yes, a first-round NBA pick who had yet to hit the weight room. Lucky for the Nuggets, Jokic's consistency with the diet translated right over to his training. Hess worked with the Joker in the weight room on improving his agility and extending his range of motion while simultaneously crafting a stronger base for Jokic to work from. Jokic worked for 3 years straight, improving his craft, just showing up to the gym each and every day to get better, and it's safe to say that it paid dividends for him. In just a few seasons, Jokic went from averaging 10 points, 2.5 assists, and 7 rebounds a game in his rookie year to averaging an astonishing 20 points, 7 assists, and 10 rebounds in his 4th season. After his much improved 2019 season, Jokic was looked at as one of the best centers in the league, among other young bigs such as Joel Embiid and Karl Anthony Towns. But little did the NBA know, Jokic was about to take over and become not just the best center, but quite possibly the best player in the entire NBA. The Joker proceeded to win the NBA MVP in 2021 and 2022, making him just one of 15 players in the history of the NBA to win this prestigious award more than once. Despite the regular season success, the Nuggets struggled mightily in the playoffs. With his co-star Jamal Murray being sidelined for essentially 2 years with a torn ACL, Jokic was left with a solid but starless roster. The narrative began to twist that Jokic was only good in the regular season, was a stat padder, and didn't lead to winning at the highest level. And despite having just as good of a statistical season this year compared to his previous MVP seasons, fellow big man Joel Embiid ran away with the MVP award, fueled by voters fatigue and outlandish comments about white players winning the MVP by former player and analyst Kendrick Perkins. Jokic's back was against the wall. It was now or never to prove the haters wrong and finally win at the highest level. And he did just that. The Denver Nuggets went on a historic NBA Finals run, bulldozing through the Timberwolves, Suns, Lakers, and Heat to win the NBA Finals, while also only losing 4 games total in the process. It was clear in all of these matchups that Jokic was consistently the best player on the court, averaging an absurd stat line of 30 points, 13.5 rebounds, and 9.5 assists in 20 games during the playoffs this year. When the confetti was coming down and all the teammates were celebrating, Jokic was shaking hands of the Miami Heat players he just beat, almost like he expected nothing less than to win the finals. And Jokic did end the season of a lifetime with a great line, saying, "They don't believe in the fat boy. It seems like it worked out. Don't bet against the fat boy." There's definitely some truth behind what Jokic said. No matter how far in the hole you are, if you just show up consistently and try to improve every day, you'll get better. After all, Jokic did not become an MVP overnight, or even shave off his fat for that matter. Jokic spent all of 4 years showing up every day to improve himself, and when it didn't seem like he was making progress or he had a setback, did he quit? Absolutely not. He developed the mindset and mentality of a winner, using failure to learn and consistency as his weapon to improve himself each and every single day. Over time, things snowballed for the Denver big man, and next thing you know, he's looked at as one of the best athletes on the planet and has the accolades to back it. So next time you think you don't have what it takes to do something, think again. I'm sure that the overweight kid from Serbia didn't think he would have what it takes to be where he is today at first either. But with a mindset change and surrounding yourself with great people, you can truly accomplish whatever you put your mind to. Take a lesson out of Jokic's book and try applying this to your situation. You never know, your wildest dream might just come true.